I transitioned from an accounting role to FP&A with no direct experience. And guess what? You can do it too. The key isn't waiting for the perfect opportunity, it is creating it by mastering transferable FP&A skills. In this video, I will be revealing insider secrets to break into FP&A, right from the courses and certifications to networking tricks that will separate ordinary candidates from action takers. Let us break down the exact skills the FP&A hiring managers look for in freshers. FP&A roles require a mix of both technical and soft skills, but many candidates underestimate how transferable their existing abilities can be. Let us start with core FP&A skills like budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, data modeling, and storytelling. These aren't just nice to have skills, they are essential for FP&A. These help you manipulate large data sets quickly and build the company's budgets and forecasts. Accounting knowledge is another non-negotiable. You will be working with financial statements daily, so understanding a P&L balance sheet or cash flow is critical. Accounting is the language of business, and you will be knee deep in it virtually in all FP&A roles. So, if you don't have the accounting background, you can focus on learning how revenues, expenses, and cash flows interact with each other. Next is analytical thinking. Analytical thinking separates average candidates from the strong ones. FP&A isn't just about reporting numbers, it is about interpreting what those numbers actually mean. So you should practice explaining why variances occurred or how seasonal trends can impact revenues. Case studies from FPI CGFPA program can help you develop this skill set. You can also try analyzing a company's quarterly report and identify three key takeaways, which is what can mimic the real world FP&A work. Next, we move to communication. Now, communication matters more than many freshers realize. You will regularly be presenting findings to non-finance stakeholders. So clarity is going to be key. One of the CFOs emphasized the importance of connecting the financial data to everyday business activities. You can practice translating complex financial concepts into simpler terms. For example, instead of saying 10% EBITDA margin, explain what that means for the company's ability to invest in new projects. Next is familiarity with FP&A tools. Tools like Power BI or budgeting tools can give you an extra edge. These tools help automate reporting and visualize data trends for FP&A work. While they are not always required, but knowing them can make your resume stand out. So you can focus on learning how to build dashboards that track key performance indicators. Another critical skill is financial modeling. While it is not strictly required for entry level FP&A roles, again, it demonstrates your ability to forecast outcomes. You can start with simple models like a three statement financial model. All the templates about these models are available on the internet when you do a simple Google search. In fact, many of my students have mentioned that financial modeling skills have helped them transition into an FP&A role. So, by building all of these core competencies, you can create a foundation that compensates for lack of direct work experience. In the next part of the video, we'll talk about how you can gain a relevant experience even without the FP&A title. Now, what if you could gain FP&A experience without holding the FP&A title itself? Many professionals have made this transition by strategically leveraging roles like accounting or MIS, as these positions provide transferable skills that the hiring managers value even if the job description does not mention FP&A. So let's talk about MIS roles first. MIS reporting roles offer often the clearest path to FP&A. These positions teach you how to connect data across departments, which is one of the core FP&A skills. In a MIS role, you will work with sales numbers, marketing spends, and operational metrics, seeing how they impact the financial performance. In fact, many of our FPI alumni have mentioned that MIS experience has helped them understand how different businesses function influence the bottom line. You can highlight any of the dashboard creation, KPI tracking, or cross departmental analysis projects in your resume. These demonstrate the analytical mindset FP&A teams look for. Accounting roles also provide a strong foundation for FP&A. For example, month-end close processes give you hands-on experience with financial statements, exactly what FP&A professionals analyze on a frequent basis. You could focus on tasks like reconciling accounts, preparing journal entries, or assisting with your audits. All these build your understanding of how revenues and expenses flow through the financial reports. One of our alumni shared that how their accounting background helped them transition into FP&A because they already spoke the language of the finance. Sometimes even non-financial roles can provide the relevant experience. Have you worked on a revenue-related task or ad hoc analysis? You can frame these as FP&A experience by focusing on the key outcomes. For example, if you have ever identified cost savings by analyzing vendor expenses, you can quantify that impact. Or if you have helped streamline a reporting process, explain how it improved the team's efficiency. Projects like these show problem solving skills that directly translate into FP&A work. Internal rotations and cross functional projects also offer a low risk way to gain exposure to FP&A. For example, you could volunteer for tasks involving budgeting, forecasting, or financial modeling, and many companies do allow temporary assignments in other departments and teams. You can use these opportunities to work alongside FP&A teams and learn their processes firsthand. One of our alumni landed an FP&A role after assisting with a quarterly forecast during a rotational program. That one experience became the centerpiece of his interview stories going forward. One of the most important things many candidates often ignore is networking. Networking, especially within your own organization, can open doors. You can connect with FP&A team members to understand their day to day work. Also, ask about shadowing opportunities or mentorship. Some companies do allow their employees to attend meetings outside their own department or teams. So, you could be sitting on budget reviews or planning sessions if your company allows you to do so. And all of these interactions provide the insights you can't get from job descriptions alone. A common piece of advice from those who have made it into FP&A is build relationships with FP&A managers before even the position opens up. So by repositioning your existing experience and proactively seeking relevant tasks, you can create a compelling case for your FP&A candidacy. In the next part, let's break down how to excel in the FP&A interview where many candidates stumble despite having the right skills. Now, many FP&A interviews will test you for more than just your technical knowledge. They will evaluate how do you approach business problems. So be ready for behavioral questions that require structured responses. For this, you can use the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result, to frame your answers in a structured manner. You can describe a past challenge, for example, improving a reporting process, and highlight measurable outcomes such as time saved or errors reduced. One of the hiring managers mentioned to me that candidates who quantify their impact stand out immediately to them. Industry knowledge also differentiates strong candidates. Research the company's competitors, market trends, and financial results before you go for the interview. If you are applying for a retail company, understand how e-commerce growth might impact their physical stores. One professional landed an offer by just discussing how inflation could affect the company's inventory valuation method. Collaboration questions test your cross-functional skills. FP&A teams work closely with departments like sales, marketing. So prepare examples of how you've explained financial concepts to non-finance colleagues. One of the candidates described creating a simplified dashboard for marketing teams to crack a campaign ROI. This demonstrated both the technical skills and the communication abilities. Technical FP&A interview questions assess your foundational knowledge. Even without FP&A experience, you should be able to understand core concepts like budgeting, forecasting, and management reporting. You should practice explaining these terms step by step, and many interviewers noted that candidates who can walk through the logic behind the concepts often show a deeper comprehension. One important part of the interview is salary discussions. This also requires preparation. You should research typical entry level FP&A salaries in your region using sites like LinkedIn and Glassdoor. When asked for salary, provide a range based on your market data rather than giving a fixed number. For example, you can say something on the lines, given the industry standards and my qualifications, I am targeting $X to $Y. What this shows is that you have done your research while also leaving room for negotiation. Lastly, the presentation skills matter more than many candidates think. You might be asked to analyze a data set and then also present the findings. Here, you need to structure your responses like a business report. So, you start with key takeaways, support that with the data, and end it with recommendations. One of the hiring managers mentioned to me that he rejected one strong candidate just because he couldn't explain its analysis clearly to the senior leadership. Variance analysis questions also will test your attention to detail. So be prepared to compare actual results to budgets and forecasts or prior periods periods and then explain the differences. For example, if the expenses are higher than the budget, discuss whether this reflects a one time cost or an ongoing trend. One professional also recommended practicing this with public companies' quarterly report to build the skill. So, by preparing for both technical and strategic questions, you demonstrate the well rounded perspective that most FP&A teams often value. Breaking into FP&A as a fresher comes down more to strategy than luck. Focus on mastering the core FP&A skills like budgeting, forecasting, management reporting, and financial modeling, and then reframe your existing experience to highlight the transferable abilities. Good luck